Turning back to last night's State of the Union, Senator Pat Toomey is with us. He's a Republican from Pennsylvania. I don't know if they took a shot at you last night, Senator. Did you have a Democratic date with you, or were you no?
I did, as a matter of fact. I sat with my counterpart from Pennsylvania, Bob Casey.
Nice. Was it like this as the speech went on, or did you have an opportunity to stand at the same time?
I didn't do a whole lot of standing last night, Joe.
Why not, Senator?
Look, I had low expectations going in, and the speech failed to meet even my low expectations. You know, it's a campaign speech. The president is clearly on his class warfare campaign, pitting one group of Americans against another when he should be inspiring and uniting Americans. Had a whole series of contradictions on economic policy, the net effect of which, if you look at what he actually is doing, has done, and is proposing, it's negative for our economy. You know, this whole theme about you know, companies and where they have their jobs. Gosh, you know, if you're a multinational corporation, you got to really wonder, does it make sense to be headquartered in the United States if this president gets reelected and decides, well, maybe some of my offshore subsidiaries you know, don't merit the same tax treatment that everyone else gets. You know, it's just a long litany of policies that are not pro-growth and just very disappointing.
When we heard the Affordable or the American Job Act, when that proposal came out, maybe it's already 6 months, maybe 4 or 5 months, I don't know exactly, but we heard we don't have time to wait until November to do a lot of these things. We're getting closer and closer to November, and at this point, it looks very unlikely that you, the Republicans, and the Democrats and the president are going to come to grips on any major things, whether it's tax reform or whether it's any type of big plan. Is that okay at this point? Should we let the American people decide in November which way they want to go?
Well, it's not okay. You know, in the end, it might be that that's exactly what happens, and the American people will have to just render their judgment in November. But I don't think it's acceptable at all. I'm afraid you're probably right, barring some major exogenous event that forces us. You know, the president and his party refuses to address the single biggest problem facing our fiscal future, the big entitlement programs. They won't touch them. They need to be redesigned. The president's insisting on a huge tax increase that can't possibly be good for the economy. You know,
and it won't solve the spending problem. Has to be tackled, and you could go on everyone that makes over $1 million. You could raise the rate to 90% and not even scratch the surface of what we need.
Take all of their income, Joe. As you know,
take 100%.
Sure, if we doubled everybody's tax rates, doubled all the income taxes we collected, last year we still would have had more than $400 billion deficit.
Yeah,
so
but
you can't tax your way out of this.
He's got to get reelected to consolidate all the moves that he made in the first 4 years. That is job one.
Well, yeah, I mean, he wants to cement in, you know, permanently as part of America this massive control of the economy on the part of the government, much greater redistribution of wealth, really a European-style welfare state. That's the model he's always preferred, and he made some progress towards getting there in this first couple of years, and we've got to stop this.
Well, luckily, the Republicans have their act together in the nominating process, and they're doing everything just right to make sure that they get in his way and don't let him.
I think this will sort itself out.
How?
And I think, well, we'll see. But
you back Romney, right? You've already?
I've not made an endorsement, but I do think Governor Romney would be a very strong nominee. I think we've got a very good shot at taking back the White House.
I just wonder how that's going to play. Can you give me a look into your crystal ball? I think a 23-point national lead for Romney is now a 5 or 6 point loss to Newt Gingrich in the national polls right now. Things changed.
On in-trade, President Obama's chances of re-election have gone up to 56%.
And I think Romney was at 80 for getting the nomination. He's now. I think is it 65? I think it's 65 now.
The one thing we know about this election cycle thus far is how volatile it's been, how many times leads have changed. My guess is we haven't seen the end of that volatility, but in the end, I think we'll rally around a nominee who can defeat President Obama.
Yeah, that's what I got. The same kind of answer I think I got from Majority Leader Cantor.
Senator, seriously, is there someone who you think better plays to defeating the president? Are you looking for someone who rallies and electrifies the base, or are you looking for someone who appeals to independents? Because the president's speech last night suggests he may be going out to energize his base.
I think whoever our nominee is has to explain the virtues of our economic system, of a free enterprise system that has allowed us to build the highest standard of living in the world, and explain why it is that, for instance, it's long been a matter of settled law that investment income is taxed differently because that helps to drive economic growth. I think someone who talks about opportunities for everybody rather than punishing those who've been prosperous. I think that kind of framework is what we need here, and we have several candidates who can deliver that message.
Have you been upset by Newt Gingrich's attacks then?
I've been very upset, absolutely. I think Newt Gingrich's attacks were way out of bounds, using the theme and the language of the left to attack capitalism itself. I think that is completely out of bounds.
But you still think that he could potentially be the candidate?
Well, I think at this point it's not impossible at all. So we'll see how it plays out, and I certainly hope he'll abandon this line of attack against the dynamic capitalist system that we have.
Yeah, that wasn't the finest. He pulled back a little, but yeah, that's hard to get past that part. I mean, he was channeling the president's speech last night with the attacks on with vulture capitalism and all that. It could have been, you could have put the words in either person's mouth. That didn't help. Anyway, Senator, it's always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
I like the beginning. When I said, were you guys standing alive? Yeah. Did you stand once last night, Senator? I think he said something about the armed forces, right?
I think he said some fitting things about our troops, and I stood at that point.
Oh, that's so nice that's what we can come. That's the only thing in the entire speech. Anyway, we appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. When we come back.